What is up, YouTube? It is I, Chaos, and today we are going to work on the replacement for this piece. I have to be careful because I realized when I watched the last video that the camera that is attached to the table wobbles a little bit disconcerting, but it's okay. We shall manage. So this piece. How are we going to do this? I've already drawn out the profile for it, and these features, there's 3 of them, are worrying because they are not in a rotation of 3, which means like the angle between this one and this one is different between the angle of this one and this one. So how are we going to do this? Because like I can't just make a thing and rotate the feature around. And you can see here on this, it's even more apparent that this feature and this feature aren't evenly spaced. Tricky, very tricky. But there is a saving grace to this, and that is from the mold lines. So when they made the mold for this, in order to make these sticky outfits, the part of the mold that comes on this part needs to be able to come away. And you can't do that if you've got pieces that are sticking out. So what they do is they'll have the mold, and then they'll have square cutouts in the mold where those pieces are. And then they'll have a square piece, this sort of shape, that will have a cutout for the bit that sticks out. So when they pull the mold off of it, those square pieces stay in place, and then they can remove them to the side. It's very clever. And you can see the same thing with the mold lines on the inside here. Yeah, well, on the inside here, do you see those? Get the light through the grill. You see there on the inside where my finger is creating a shadow, there's a square sort of indentation in the plastic. There's another one over here where the shadow is, and then there's even a third one there that you can see right on the outside here, that little square mark. So those are these square pillars that they put in with the round part of the mold, and when they pull the round part of the mold out, these square pieces stay where they're indented, and then they pull them out this way out. And that's how these are molded, which is very interesting. And you can see these remnants of that process. So that gives you an indication of how it was made. But it doesn't really help that these aren't equally spaced. But because we have on this piece those square registers, those square marks from those pillars, we can measure the angle of the sides of those squares. And fingers crossed, it looks like they are indeed perpendicular to the feature that they are creating. So I need to work out how to measure that angle without a protractor. This is going to be fun. So I'm going to throw down a time lapse while I try and figure this out, and we'll see you guys in a sec. Okay, so what I did is we're going to triangulate it by measuring the distance between the corners, the diameter of this inside circle that they are perpendicular from, the width of the flat at the top, and the height of the perpendicular edge to the circle. And that way we can work out what this angle is roughly. So we're going to jump into Inventor straight away and confirm these measurements to see if they're exactly the same, or if, like, because this has got a cracked screen, so this doesn't work. I'm eyeballing these measurements, so I can't get very precise measurements, and I don't even have features to actually put the tines of the micrometer against so that we get accurate points. So we're going to see how close these come. So it's a 63 on the 2 short sides and a 76 on the long side, and we'll see if that works. If it constrains nicely and these numbers are close, we're on the right path. So straight to Inventor. Alright, let's get this going. So we want to start off with a circle of 59 in diameter. And again, that's the best I could get off of the measurement. See if we can get a better... Yeah, that's 59. It's probably the best measurement of all the measurements I just took. That 59 is probably the best. Okay, moment of truth. What is the distance here? That's pretty close. It's really close. 71. It's not the 76 we're looking for, but if we change this to 64, that number goes down. And if we do 62, we get 73. Curious. Very curious. I mean, it's very close. You grab the micrometer and just double check that long one, make sure we got the right measurement to start with. Yeah, it's closer to 75. Those are definitely 62. What if, there we go, we make that 60. No, I'm definitely getting 59 for that edge. Maybe it's the height of the squares themselves that I got wrong. Oh yeah, they're 13, not 12. And there we go. We get our 63 and we get our 75. So I'm confident that that is close enough to give us what we need. And now we can come in here and we can go, the angle here is 109. This one's got to be a round number. 140. There we go. And that's how we get those non-rotationally symmetrical features in the right place. And I'm happy with that. That's close enough for what we need. We'll print it and test it and make adjustments if we need to. So next up, we just got to make the feature for it. So now that we know it's 140 and the other ones are 109, I bet you if we did this, that makes a lot more sense. And now if we measure it, we get our 63 and our 75. And it makes more sense that they would have made it 140 and 110 rather than a solid number here and some weird number here. So these are definitely the angles that we're working with here, or as close as I can measure to.
Is this just a dream? Is the reality Wanna go back?
Okay, so we've got this one all finished up, and before we go any further, which we can't anyways, we have to wait now for the parts for the printer to arrive, which should be in a week or two, beginning of November. They should arrive sometime then. I'll get the printer up and running, and we will print this part as well as the base test. So we're just going to print this bottom part of it and actually test fit it before we go printing the whole thing. And the other thing I want to do is get an enclosure made for the printer, because when we start building very large objects, I mean, this is going to be a huge print. I want to have a heated environment for the ABS so that we can reduce the amount of warping and get a better final result. But that's not too much of an issue. I've already got a design sorted out for the enclosure I'm going to print for the printer. It's gonna be really cool. I think you guys are gonna like the way I'm going about it. It's using space age design techniques. Yeah, I'm using similar techniques they used on some satellites and stuff. But before we go any further with this, I just want to jump back to our other project, the Trigold project. So we go into the Volatilis and open up, where are you? Where are you? That's it there. So as you know, I'm entering this into Render Wars, and we've created a render of this in Studio in Inventor, and I never want to use Studio again. So as a result of never wanting to use Studio again, I have got myself Vred Pro 2018, and we'll let this load up. Now, I've never used this before, so there's going to be a bit of a learning curve. I know rendering, so it shouldn't be too much of a, like the technical stuff I know, it's just learning this new interface and how this interface applies that technical stuff. And I've had to play with it already, and yeah, it's going to take me a while to get used to this, and I want to get the renders done for Render Wars. So I'm going to submit what I've done in Studio, and I'm going to resubmit in like a couple of weeks when I've got the hang of this soft, because at the moment I can import the Trigold project and it does some weird things. Like, it doesn't do what I was expecting. While this is still loading in that model, I just wanted to talk about something. I went on YouTube and looked for tutorials on using Vred, and I'm thoroughly disappointed. There's very little of anything that is worth a damn. A lot of this is really boring, uninteresting, long-winded, mostly useless information. I haven't found anything useful yet. I've only just started looking through these. So over the next week, just like I did with Inventor, I'm going to spend a week just cramming and learning how to use this software. And at the end of the week, if I'm confident enough in what I can do, I will do maybe like a tutorial type thing on rendering Inventor objects. So importing Inventor files and rendering them. So that's going to be an interesting thing to look out for in the next week. And I'll probably like work with Neil over at TFI CAD Tips and do some sort of collaboration or something to get him on board with it as well, because he's the one that does tips and tricks. My channel's not really about doing that. That's his thing. So maybe there's a way that we can like work together and get him up to date with it, and he can, you know, share that information as well with you guys. I don't know, we'll see. That'd be a cool thing to do, since, you know, both our channels use Inventor, like, and he taught me. Like, when I was learning Inventor, it was Neil's channel that got me up to speed with using Inventor. All the other tutorial videos and everything else on YouTube was mostly useless until I came across his channel, like way back in the day. And it was his work on YouTube that got me to the stage that I'm at. And it took me a week just cramming his videos and just playing in Inventor all day, every day for a solid week. And that's how I learned to use Inventor. And I'm planning, hopefully, to do the same with this. But as you can see, we've imported something that makes no sense. And if we go into the graph, it really just only imported the environment and some stuff. Like, there we go. Okay, interesting. But I don't know why these were hidden. And then the other thing is you have to come in here and go, okay, no, we want the y-axis. There we go. But the carbon fiber isn't there on the props, and we're missing the logo. So I've got to work out how to apply decals and all this sort of stuff. And if when you click on the objects themselves, we'll switch to wireframe rather than bounding box. Okay, this time it's created a single object. However, if you come in here, it's not a single object. It has split the mesh based on the textures, which means I need to go back in Inventor and delete all of the textures and apply a uniform basic texture to everything, just default texture, everything, and then import it here and pray that it keeps everything the same as a single object, and then work out how to texture it in here. I might actually have to do some UV texturing, which I thoroughly hate doing UV editing, but if that's what's needed, that's what's needed. So yeah, I was expecting to just jump in here, import the files, apply some textures, set up a camera, some lights, and start rendering. That's not gonna happen. I was deluded, thoroughly deluded. I mean, what is this ground plane? Let's come in here. Let's go away. Go away. the environment is off axis to the rest of the bloody model. Oh, once again, Autodesk has done something stupid. They've made a powerful... from what I hear, people are raving about this software, and so far, nothing is intuitive. I mean, coming from things like Autodesk Maya and the rendering systems in Maya, and, you know, their other products, this makes no sense. Really makes no sense. It's very unintuitive. So there's a lot of learning for me to do. So I think that will do it for today's episode. We've got 2 projects on the go. One long term, which is this one, and we've got the Cyclone, Chaos Cyclone Dustbuster project, which is going to be next month when we actually print it and get it working. So as always, I've been Chaos. If you like what you've seen, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It's guaranteed to give you 3 years of good luck. If you can, head over to my Patreon page. And as always, expect the unexpected. And I shall see you guys later.